Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode from us here at Wheelsboy. In this video from Wheelsboy, I am going to invite some guests, some of my beloved guests from the Wheelsboy EV Tour to sit with me for a little bit and talk about their experience joining the tour. If after this video you are interested in joining a Wheelsboy EV Tour, please reach out to us at tour@wheelsboy.cn. I'm going to start by asking each of our guests to introduce themselves, and then in this section, we're going to talk about their time at the 2025 Shanghai International Auto Show, the largest and most important auto show in the world, without a doubt. I will start over here with Steve.
Good morning, I'm Steve Harper from Brisbane, Australia. I work in the vehicle upfitting industry in Brisbane, sunny Brisbane.
Richard Laxton, I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm an electric vehicle consultant.
Perfect. This is why you're on the tour.
I'm Ken from Sydney, Australia. I'm a retired CEO.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben from New York City in the United States, and I'm a technology startup founder.
Okay, we have a very diverse group of backgrounds, which I really like to see. So obviously this part of the video is about talking about the auto show. So Ben, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your experience at the Shanghai Auto Show. What did you see that impressed you or surprised you, changed your mind about something? Go ahead.
I think the scale of the show was the most impressive thing for me. As soon as we walked in, the venue was remarkable. I've been to auto shows in other parts of the world, and the size of the venue, the amount of displays, and the quality of the setups were incredible. The amount of effort that the brands put in to show off their products was really excellent, and it was well thought out. I feel like I could have spent an entire week in that building and not have seen anything, not have seen everything. So it was really, it was kind of walking into a candy shop for a car enthusiast, just an endless supply of exciting things. And the products that were on display were just really, really cool. I mean, all the cars and the demos and the setups that all the brands put forward. It was just a car enthusiast's dream.
I know that I was using my Fitbit to track steps, and I know I did 20,000 that day. So
I feel like I did 20,000.
you guys
not
probably
far off, not far
Very
off.
similar.
somewhere around there. So joining the Wheelsboy EV Tour, not only will you get to see a lot of cool Chinese cars, if you join one of our auto show tours, you also get to do a lot of exercise
Yeah.
as a side benefit.
Calves of steel.
Calves of steel, yes. Everybody, we can show off our amazing calves in the video. Everybody stick their legs out so that you can see them. Ken, what about you? Did you see anything that surprised you?
Well, I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't realise that half of China was going to be there. But it was I felt like a kid in a lolly shop too, wandering around there. And I was expecting to be able to sort of inspect things in great detail, and it wasn't as possible as I thought it was going to be because of the number of people there. I had a specific number of particular cars, being a real enthusiast, that I wanted to get into and sit into, and I wasn't able to do that all the time because there appeared to be families who had sort of taken up residence in some of the cars. But I did get to see all the ones that I wanted to really see. And I knew that I was going to be driving some of these a bit later, so I was kind of okay with it. But it is a big show, and there are a lot of people at it. But it was exciting, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I think this time around, we learned a lesson from Guangzhou, which was our first event last year, where we only had one day at the auto show. And it was just so much to see that we decided we had to offer a second day. And some people took us up on that offer, including you. So why did you choose to go a second day?
So the first day we'd obviously had a bit of a guided walkthrough, and one of the areas that we hadn't really touched at all was the sort of related show there, which is the automotive OEM vehicle component manufacturing area. And I really wanted to check that out, and I kind of learned a lot of things from there. One in particular, which is that the whole industry is really tooling up for steer-by-wire. There's a whole bunch of manufacturers there that are just waiting. Now we've got the ET9 and the Denza Z, or Denza Z, I suppose you call it.
These two seats do. I think the recipe would be Z, but go on.
That's right. You know, it's just like waiting for that legislation to drop in China, and then I think we're going to see so many cars with steer-by-wire. It's going to be,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be both good and bad. You know, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to mess it up, but you know that you only see that when you're running through a components OEM place. You know, you don't see that with the vehicles. This is like leading, you know, another 12 months. So
Yeah.
next year is going to be full of them.
I think you're right. I mean, I already this year drove the Neo ET9, which had the steer-by-wire system from ZF. I'm using the Z. Did you hear that?
Good
I
man.
used it from ZF. And I know that there are multiple Chinese brands who are working on self-developed systems as well. And of course, all the suppliers, as you said, are gearing up to provide those systems. So, yeah, I bet you anything, 2026, 2027 especially, I'm going to be driving a ton of steer-by-wire Chinese cars. So hopefully they do a good job.
Yeah.
If they don't, you'll be hearing about my early demise in some
Yeah.
newspaper somewhere. What about you, Steve?
I've plenty of experience with the sort of budget Chinese cars in the Australian market. I really wanted to have a look at the more premium end, which the show afforded that opportunity, and it was great to see that the Chinese manufacturers of the premium cars are doing as good a job as the Europeans now. The quality was outstanding. I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised, by how nice they are, and even just their displays at the show outshone most of the European and American manufacturers. Obviously, it's a Chinese show, but it's a global stage for the manufacturers, and they really went to town. Very good, very impressed.
They spend multiple millions of dollars on those stands for sure. They have cars hanging on walls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They've
no
got all
expense
sorts of
spared.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway, I'm always impressed by the number of things. I have to agree with Ken. There were so many people. And it is funny when you walk up to a car that you want to check out and you kind of have to wait for somebody and their child and their wife and to try to get into the seat first. But it reminds me of here in China during the summer, the IKEAs are always very busy because IKEA has great air conditioning and beds and people will just lay in them.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to go and check that out.
It was quite interesting seeing the industrial espionage going on there as well.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of German guys with Mercedes shirts with feeler gauges measuring the panel gaps on the Chinese cars. And there were two guys with Toyota shirts sat in, I think it was a Denza. And the one guy had Google Translate on his phone and he was going through all the infotainment system, translating it while his mate was sat behind him filming his phone with another one so that they could plagiarise
I saw a guy
the OS, which
I
is
saw a guy doing that
yeah,
too.
it's quite the reverse of the sort of
I saw a guy taking
people's perception.
a photo of every single page
Yeah.
on the entertainment system.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did actually asked him, you know, why are you doing this? And he didn't particularly want to answer the question.
No.
But
It is, you're absolutely right. That's been the big shift. I remember back in Shanghai Auto 2023 was the first show in which, because of the pandemic, many foreign manufacturers, their executives could come to China to see the show. And so it was halls full of extremely taller than this guy even, tall Germans walking around and like looking with stunned looks on their faces because they're like, oh, this was not like this in 2019.
Yes.
Some things have changed. Some big changes have happened. And so you can also always tell the German engineers because they insist on going up and opening the door and closing it, and opening it and closing it and listening to the sound. And I think it's one of the ways that they console themselves is they can say,
Well,
like,
they weren't smiling when they were doing that this time. They were looking quite dejected.
No, they've even lost the sound battle.
Yeah.
So their Volkswagen or whatever doesn't sound that much better anymore. Dang it.
well, I remember Jim Farley coming back to the US, the CEO of Ford, and someone asked him, what did you think? And he just used two words. He said, we're toast.
Yeah. Well, he drives a Su7, doesn't he? As his,
Well, just
his
for a little
daily
while.
driver,
And that was they borrowed it from those D mob you were talking about the other day.
D-Car?
D-Car,
Did they borrow
yeah.
from D-Car?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Pretty sure it was.
Yeah, yes, I know. I remember when I saw that Jim Farley was driving that car and talking about it, I was so happy because I go to these shows and obviously I've been going to them for years, and myself and other people who have the opportunity to see these cars and drive them and experience them, we're like the canary in the coal mine, is how I put it. And we've been shouting from the rooftops like, get ready, get ready. They're coming, and they're very good, and they're getting better. So to see someone at that level acknowledge that and talk about it was actually reassuring to me, especially as an American. I know, Ben, I want to see the American car industry succeed, you know?
You definitely do. And going to the event as an observer or a fan was a lot of fun. But if I was a member of the auto industry, I would probably go home and need to get to work.
Yeah.
They've been climbing the tree. They did compact, cheap, great. Then they did the family cars. And like, you know, you get into a Chinese-style family car, you know, the leg room, the headroom, it's just brilliant. Then they did the sort of luxury vehicles, sort of, you know, Luxo barges and Luxo MPVs. And now with the SU7, they've proven an actual driver-focused car that you actually want to get into and, you know, thrash around a mountain road. They can do that too. And, you know, now we've got things like SC01 coming in as well, which is, you know, lightweight sports cars. It's going to be awesome.
And even drop-top sports cars.
Yeah.
Getting into. I mean, it's all there.
It's coming. I mean, it's really exciting. As a car reviewer, when we focus on reviewing Chinese cars, there are certain segments that have not gotten the attention that I wish they did. So, for example, the show, one of my favorite debuts was 2 sports cars. The Denza Z, which I'm excited because it's going to be face-melting fast, right, and high-tech. And then the other car you mentioned, if I can say my highlight from the show, even though I didn't get to see it, but I've seen it at other shows, was that SC01. It's a light, compact sports car that is fully electric, but it weighs like less than 1.4 tons.
Yeah, 1356 kilos.
1356 kilos. And so, fingers crossed, you're going to be seeing me driving that on the channel this year. Okay, guys, then I think that that's going to do it for our commentary on the auto show. Now I'm going to invite some other guests to join me to talk about their experience behind the wheel of our fleet of 6 Chinese EVs.